Yesterday, Universal released a new trailer for the coming biopic Steve Jobs. The first full trailer for the film depicts a tyrannical Steve Jobs, played by Michael Fassbender, and also Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, played by Seth Rogen, accusing Jobs of hogging the credit for their creations. The real-life Steve Wozniak, meanwhile, says that never happened, but he thinks the trailer mostly gets it right. Take a look at the trailer.
What do? You're not an engineer. You're not a designer. You can't put a hammer to a nail. I built the circuit board. The graphical interface was stolen. So how come 10 times in a day I read Steve Jobs as a genius? What do you do?
It's a system error.
Fix it.
Fix it?
Yeah.
We're not a pit crew at Daytona.
Steve Jobs, the film, opens in October. Pimm Fox back with me on set. Pimm, what'd you think of the trailer?
Well, it certainly is different than the last Steve Jobs movie, and it also paints a slightly different portrait than the book that was written by Walter Isaacson. It's interesting that Danny Boyle, who is the director of this movie, also the previous director of Slumdog Millionaire, as well as Trainspotting, creates a lot more tension, perhaps, in the film than many people will maybe think about when they think about Steve Jobs. It brings a darker side to Steve Jobs to the screen.
Interesting. What else can you tell us about the film?
Well, I don't know anything other than what we've seen in the trailer because they've been very tight in releasing information about it. But it all appears that there is a big component about his personal life and how he treated members of his family, his children, and so on. And it seems as though it is being designed more for emotional impact than whether it will necessarily satisfy people's desire to learn more about the technology and the progress of technology and innovation at Apple.
Did you see the one with Ashton Kutcher?
Yes.
Well, Steve Wozniak apparently hated that one. This one, at least, he participated in the making of the film, so the hope out there is that this one's going to be a little bit more accurate, a little bit more authentic.
Could be, but I would also ask how many people really want to see more about this. And obviously, the folks over at Universal believe that there is still more appetite for information about Steve Jobs, and that this will generate even increased buzz in order for people to maybe go out and buy the book and learn more. And buy Apple products, of course.
And hey, they've already sold, what, north of 700 million iPhones?
Yes.
That's a lot of potential moviegoers.
And watches. I think there's 2.4 million watches and counting, literally counting.
And counting?
Yeah,
nice.
Something.
2.4 million is more than I would have suspected. But seriously, there's a huge amount of interest out there in this guy that's created all this technology that's changed the way we live.
Yeah, and also it's going to be interesting to see whether this spawns additional movies of these kinds of creative forces. For example, we got The Social Network, which was all about Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. Will there be more movies about people who are in this industry and glamorize them in a way that maybe the people who work for them didn't necessarily feel at the time? I think maybe the subtitle of this could be The Wrath of Steve, because at least according to the trailer, it's got a major temper.